For those of you sitting at home, when you watch a football game, you're watching it on the TV, you're sitting there screaming at the TV, but you get 28 angles, right? Well, even though you have 28 angles, head football coaches and their staff don't like to watch what all of us see on TV. They like to watch the game a particular way. And Mike Ortiz and his staff make sure every weekend the coaches get the view they want.
The perils of being a cameraman. Everybody wants to be on.
You probably don't notice them during game day or hear their names mentioned much, but Mike Ortiz and his 8-man video crew are an integral part of the football staff and have one of the most important jobs on game day. Their jobs start about 4 hours before game time, when the crew meets to go over the schedule and set up equipment, and ends several hours after the game, when the video is broken down for the coaches to study and uploaded on the Pac-10's Internet Exchange server for opponent scouting. And while that's a pretty standard game for every Pac-10 video staff, Ortiz and his crew offer the coaches a unique point of view.
What we do is we shoot everything from the sideline and then 2 end zones. So Travis here will get the entire play, all 22 guys. They call this the all-22 camera. He'll get every move that every guy makes pre, post snap, and he shoots that, and then he shoots a scoreboard in between every single play to kind of set the tone for, here's what the down and distance will be. Then he shoots the play, scoreboard. So he'll alternate scoreboard, play, scoreboard, play. He'll do that the entire game. And then we have 2 end zones. Those guys will only shoot what's going on in what we call the box, meaning the tight end to tight end or the rush end to rush end. Those guys will be positioned over underneath the scoreboard as well as in the Valley Football Center. We'll only take the one quarter where our backs are to that camera. That's one of those things that we actually are unique to at Oregon State, where in the Pac-10 we're the only team that shoots 2 end zones so that we can always have our backs to the camera. No other school in the Pac-10 does that, so it makes for some tricky editing, but at the same time it gives our guys a little bit of an edge. At least we like to think so. Once the tapes get back in here, 2 of our editors take it and they ingest it, or they digitize it into our nonlinear editing system. What they'll do then is they'll cut every single play so that it's tight, and they'll also mark the play as well, determining whether it's an offensive play, a defensive play, or what discipline of kick it is. Once those are done, then we'll match those plays up from the sideline and the end zone, and then we'll have what ends up being a checkerboarded intercut. So now that we've intercut the game, guys can go back to their offices or to the meeting rooms and they can watch the plays. They can skip forward, backwards. Say, for example, here, since we've cut every single play, if somebody wants to go and reference the blocking scheme or just how well James did on the fly sweep, he can pull that up. He'll find out here that it's play 49, and we can sit there and we can watch it from 2 angles. And so everything has been separated out to where these guys are just watching offense if they want. They can switch over and they can just watch defense. So there's not every single play like you would see on TV. It's broken out so just the offensive coaches can grade out and see where we made mistakes or where we did well on the offensive side of the ball. Same thing for our special teams coaches, as well as our defensive coaches. So we get pretty granular so that these guys can really focus in on their side of ball, and they can really kind of make, hopefully, adjustments that'll help us win the next game.
You may never see these guys' faces. You may never hear their names other than on this show, but they are crucial to the success of Oregon State football.
Steve, let's go ahead and start this with special teams because that's how the game started. 45,900 plus here, louder than can be, quieted after one play, but Oregon State responded.
Well, first of all, that one play was the only thing that Cal's special teams got him all day. Best is a great return guy. He made a great run. Beavers kicker, Cahoot, saves them from a touchdown. And then you think, wow, what's going to happen? Beavers come right back. It felt like a video game to me at first. The one team scores, the other team scores, but there were great blocks on that return for touchdown that James ran. Will Darkins just gets an unbelievable hit. The entire special teams made their blocks. We saw it later on with blocking on a lot of Sammy's stuff. Sammy had some great runs. Again, the special teams is playing lights out.
You and I have talked about it before, the adjustments that Oregon State makes. Halftime, Quiz is averaging 3 yards a carry and only has 33 carries. Second half, 108 yards. and all of a sudden he's just busting through holes. What did you see, and just what was the difference?
Well, I think the difference was what Mike actually said after the game. His offensive people just believe you persevere. Those plays that are getting you 1 and 2 yards in the first quarter and 3 and 4 in the second quarter, all of a sudden in the third and fourth quarter, the Quiz is running through people. The Lions getting their second effort, and they're, no sacks again today. I mean, that's remarkable. The Beavers lead the league in sack protection, and against a team like Cal that's been sacking everybody and intercepting and getting turnovers, they played another great game.
They really did. And defensively, I mean, we need to have time for this because they were spectacular, really shutting down a very dangerous offense.
Well, a 65-yard touchdown run by a very good back. You just thought that was going to happen, folks. They have a trick play that goes for about 40. So they get over 100, 105, 110 yards out of 2 plays. Beavers hold them to 230. But I think score-wise, 1 net yard in the fourth quarter. That is phenomenal, folks. When the game's on the line, this defense stood up. And they used some great adjustments, too. You mentioned them earlier. The Beavers played defensive linemen out of their normal position, so they got speed in when they needed it. In passing situations, a lot of times they had 3 defensive ends, and it just was remarkable, the job they did.
That was a great win overall by the team, and so now what's next? Oh, it doesn't get any easier. Going to Arizona, tell me a little bit more about this because, again, every game gets tougher.
Well, this is a good offense and a good defense. They're at the top of the charts in a couple of categories. They've got a senior quarterback. They've got a great receiver, Mike Thomas. They call him Tuatama and Thomas, they call him TNT, and they are good. Offensively, they got 2 good running backs, 2 young guys. Grigsby can fly. They can do a lot of things offensively. The Beavers are going to have to play their best on defense, their best on offense and special teams, and they're playing in the most hostile environment around.
Yeah, it's going to be a matchup, not one to miss, that is for certain. But you know what? As I saw Bob DeCarolis say in the locker room, 1 down, 2 to go.
I love it.